member state legislature, nor any constitutional office. Paul Nimsawan unsuccessfully ran for assembly this year.
We are one of the fastest growing Asian community in the country, not the state, the country, and we are underrepresented.
It's a problem at the municipal level as well. After 2 hours of online searches, other than a few judges, I was not able to find any Asian American elected officials on any town advisory board, city council, school board, or county commission. Nimsawan has a theory about that.
We do not get the support that we needed. Running for the office is very difficult. It takes money, it takes time, it takes support, and being an Asian American or just an Asian is very hard to come by those obstacles.
The Asian Chamber of Commerce is backing a political action committee to provide that support and recruit prospective candidates. Chairman Ash Merchandani started the PAC just a few months ago.
Be it any issue, there's no Asian in the room, there's no Asian voice. So that needs to change.
Change, both men hope, comes sooner rather than later. Patrick Walker, 8 News Now.
According to 2017 census estimates, Asian Americans make up roughly 10.5% of Clark County's population and nearly 9% of the state's population.
Well, it's not quite a landslide, but would-be Clark County Commissioner Tick Segerblom's tight primary victory margin expanded by just a little bit more today. And a recount of votes requested by the loser in the Commission District E race found 2 additional votes for Segerblom that were not counted on Election Day. Politics Now co-host Steve Sebelius in studio live with that story, Steve.
Well, Brian and Christiane, it's still one of the closest elections that we saw on primary Election Day. But State Senator Tick Segerblom won the Democratic primary in District E by 183 votes, not 181 as we thought on Election Day. The runner-up in that race, Marco Hernandez, requested a recount that found 2 mail-in votes that were not initially recorded for Segerblom on June 12th. That means Segerblom will move on to the general election in November. Now, the District E race was a bitter primary because of a single issue. In the Nevada legislature, Segerblom was a vote against the Raiders Stadium, which relies on $750 million in room taxes for construction funds. Hernandez is the vice president of the labor's union, Local 872, which supplies the labor that's building that stadium right now. And in a rare twist, Hernandez was also supported by Las Vegas Sands chairman Sheldon Adelson, who was one of the original supporters of bringing the Raiders to Las Vegas. Adelson eventually pulled out of that deal. The race was much closer than most observers thought it would be, but if Segerblom was worried, he certainly didn't show it. In an interview last week with Politics Now, Segerblom was sanguine about the idea of a recount.
And at the end of the day, if it turns out that the recount that he won, I'll support it. Right? That's what elections are for. You determine who got the most votes and go with that. But based on everything I know, there's no way that they can succeed in that recount.
And the race isn't over yet. Segerblom still has to face Republican Trish Marsh in November, but District E is overwhelmingly Democratic in registration. As you see on your screen, Democrats outnumber Republicans by nearly a 2-to-1 margin, and there are slightly more voters registered nonpartisan than are registered Republican in that district, so Segerblom has to be considered the frontrunner. We reached out to Hernandez today to find out if he'd support Segerblom in the general election. We didn't hear back. Meanwhile, the ever-laid-back Tick Segerblom said he was, quote, pleasantly happy, unquote, at the fact that he is still the winner.
With even more votes.
With even more votes, yeah.
Ever laid back. Not a bad description.
Not a bad description, and it's very apt for Tick Segerblom.
Thank you, Steve.